The channel. My name is Andy and this is season 16 of Apex Online Racing. It's F1 2018. The hype is real. It is the Hype Energy 2018 season and we are here at Australia, Melbourne, Australia, Albert Park for round one of the season. This is Formula 2 F2 Tier 2 and alongside me in the commentary box I do have OTG. Oliver alongside me. How are you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm very good. I'm excited to get this underway. It felt like a very long break since the end of the previous. I'm looking at the grid and there's a lot of guys who could have got into F1. This is a very competitive grid we've got here. Obviously some new challenges this season compared to last season. We've got the safety cars been added, there's ERS and a formation lap. So we'll see what these guys can do under the new added pressure.
It's definitely going to be an interesting one. We can see that some of the drivers are wasting absolutely no time on getting out onto the track to get in an early banker lap as well. Got a bit of a longer qualifying, if I remember rightly, from last season, 18 minutes. I think you'll be able to correct me, Ollie. It was a bit shorter last season, is that correct?
12 or 15 minutes last year, so it's an extended one. So we'll just see what the guys can do with that extra time. So, you know, obviously 2, maybe even 3 laps if some of these guys really push it, but you look at the laps. So I reckon most of these guys, as they are at the moment, will go for their out laps, and a couple maybe will stay in a little bit later to try and find track position. But with 17 guys going around quite a tight street circuit, it's going to be interesting what they can do at the moment.
It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Tyre choices available here on the track are going to be the purple Ultra Sauce, the red Super Sauce and the yellow Soft tyres. And at the moment on the screen we are following the Force India driver of RC Spider at the moment in the Force India. He's coming up to start his first outlap, so we're going to follow him just for the moment. So I think he is the first one up to just make himself a bit of space. We've got 17 cars here today. There's a few drivers been unable to make it to this first race, so we are missing one of the Toro Rosso, one of the Williams drivers, which is FTR Sussex. We are also missing the one of the Haas drivers, VP McGrady, and I believe he's actually in Barcelona doing another event, so good luck to him with that. And we're missing one of the Renault drivers, CRSR Hamilton, who's had a bit of a work emergency to go and take care of. So there's 3 drivers missing from our usual field of 20. Let's say we're watching Spider at the moment, and VP Dan Danquel is actually retired from the session already, so he is not setting a time. And a couple of yellow flags kicking about, but we're coming through the back end of sector 1 and 2 with Spider, and he's catching up to one of the Salbas, it looks, ahead at this point in time. And he's coming through the fastest part, coming up to the fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. The Salba gets out of the way nicely, up to 8th gear briefly, into 7th, quickly through there, catching the exit curb. 3 DRS zones through here as well, and there's a Red Bull up ahead also. They be careful. CSR Ash 19.9 as well, and then Dawidos into a 19.7 in the Ferrari. So some quick times already, a little bit of jumping on the screen. Hopefully that's not going to be too much of a problem moving forward. So some quick times already here in the split. DRS open for Spider and the number 4. Where's he going to go on the timesheets? He goes 19.8, so he's moved into second at the moment. We'll see who else we can find. Here's Lee Findlay in the McLaren. He's coming towards the end of his lap. FTR Ivanstow is going 1 minute 20 in the Mercedes. You got anyone else on your screen, Ollie?
Not at the moment. I'm just looking at some of the guys who are going through in their ERS. Some of them are finding themselves with just about 50% left, so there is potential that you could go for 2 flying laps if you are. A couple guys, well, I say a couple of guys, just one person at the moment who's out, upset racer, so you know, going for an alternate strategy, you'll be surprised if he sets a really competitive time at these times. Most of these guys, the aim is going to be the mid 1 minute 19s. A couple of them, from what I know, I spoke to a few of them beforehand, and some of them have said that they can get to 1 minute 19.2. Who told me on his end that was very close to the F1 times we saw earlier at 7 o'clock.
It's definitely going to be a quick time. I was expecting anything between 1 minute 19, 1 minute 20, based off of the earlier Tier 1 and the Oceania race from this morning as well. Obviously the lap record here is Lewis Hamilton's lap, 1 minute 21.1 from earlier on this season, so we're already seeing lap times much quicker than that as we see Big Parenta go into the 1 minute 20s in his Red Bull there. It's still Davidos. Interesting to see if anyone else can go any quicker than that. So it's Ferrari, Force India, McLaren, Toro Rosso, Mercedes, and then Red Bull, McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes. Getting a wee bit mixed up with the colours there as I look through. 30 people already joining the stream. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Hope you are enjoying it. If you do spot anything, do give us a wee shout. This is my first time, so be gentle with me as well, please. But we are coming up towards the end of the first 5 minutes. There's RC Sam, VP Vettel Racer. No surprises for guessing his favourite driver. But done a wee bit of my own research obviously as well. I'm sure you have done as well, Ellie. If you figured anything out, any interesting facts or snippets you can let us know about the drivers in the field.
Yeah, quite competitive. Stocky, for example, I know that he started out very, very competitive and looked like he could potentially go on a win, but due to other commitments had to slow down his competitive and getting out of the team. Didn't race for a large portion of the end, which was a little bit of a shame for him. A lot of these guys have raced in F1 previously, specifically Davidos, Dan Daniel, all raced in the top. Them two have got a lot of weight on their shoulders. Also Jim Paskey as well. He's raced up in the top class, and we are seeing what is pretty much a PS4 F1.2 or even just 0.1. It's just so tight. A lot of these guys will be feeling they could get. Some of the times we've seen from Davidos would have actually got him around this track as well. We're looking some of the guys may be targeting that because we saw earlier on Veloce Oli D, who's a world champion in AOR's F1 tier. He's started in P11. Played out well. I believe he's on a good run at the moment as he continues. You know, that could possibly be a strategy we could see. I've spoken to a few of the guys who have tested the tyres, and it seems like around about lap 7 to lap 10 is when we're going to be expecting the first lot of pit stops for the ultra soft running guys, at 12 to lap 14, 15 from the super softs. But there is really very limited degradation on these tyres. Around about lap 7, you could up to wear on the tyres of their choice. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do. On board with Stocky there, who has just lost the rear end slightly, coming out of one of the corners onto the curb. It lost a part of his end plate, which is not ideal to come into the pits undoubtedly, and has ruined his lap there. So a shame for Stocky. He's going to have to try, and we might actually be continuing to go on at the moment actually. I think he's going to continue and fight through that. He may not have got damage from that in fact, but yeah, shame for him. He's going to want to try and push. A lot of these guys though are leaving it very late. 9 minutes to go, so most of these guys are going to stay in the pits and then head out as Terry Tupai come out and set another lap as he ramps up in the Toro Rosso to go ahead and set a lap. Currently in P4, 1 minute 20. He knows he can go quicker than there, so he'll potentially be tough today. As it seems there's an issue with Andy81287, so we'll continue talking about some of these stuff then. So Davidos on pole at the moment at 1 minute 9. Expect that time to come tumbling down. I'm on board with Cherry 2.5. It's gone wide out of turn 1 onto the extending, and of course the big thing around this track is Davidos at 1 minute 19.4. That's the sort of time he was expecting. A very competitive time, just below the mid-range at 1 minute 9. These times are going to tumble very, very quickly as Cherry 2.5 looks to be on quite a good lap at the moment, using all of his DRS detection zones. There's two a little bit wide there, coming out of the turn 7. As he comes through one of these left-right sections, these right-left and left-right sections, very, very tough around here. It looks like Cherry 2.5 is struggling with quite a lot of understeer at the moment, so maybe the car is too comfortable underneath him.
Yeah, CRS has just gone quickest as well, 1:19.3 in the McLaren, and I've noticed that during the time that we were watching the likes of Cherry 2 Pie, Casper and Stocky, that Junda in the Mercedes is retired from the session, and I believe Jim Pasty as well is also retired from the session, so we've got a few drivers now no longer on the track and will not be setting any further times. But we're just watching Cherry 2 Pie come to the end of this lap. What can he do? Can he improve? He does. He's up to third in 19.7 from the Toro Rosso driver as Jim Pasty's rejoined the lobby, so he obviously had a wee disconnection issue there from him. So we've lost two drivers though, VP Dan Damquill and Junda. When we were on board with Stocky, I did notice the Mercedes, it did look like, was off to the right hand side just at the end of the fast chicane. So I do wonder if he's caught the curb on the exit and just pitched him into a massive spin and into the wall. But we are now currently watching on his in-lap, I would imagine, the new provisional pole sitter CSR Ash in the McLaren, as Tactician has decided he's enough for this session. And we've got a Red Bull, but let's see it there. Let's see if I can find out who that was. Someone was round. Lost who it was. That would have been Tactician. He was the one that was round, so that's why he's retired from the session. He was round at the chicane as well. Yes, I do see there's a wee bit of lag kicking about, Iceman. I do understand that. It's frustrating. I'm noticing it as well. It's something that will hopefully not be too much of an issue moving forward. It's something that for me personally, being the streamer, it's the first time I have done this, so I'm hoping that it won't be something that will be an issue moving forward. But Ash at the moment, the fastest lap time, and as you said, Ollie, that would have been good enough for a pretty competitive lap time within Tier 1 as well.
Yeah, that would have been a very solid time. I think that would have got him within the top 6 even. So yeah, really good performance there from the McLaren. David and Sean, both did a great job at 3. Would be to be gained as well. A lot of these guys onto their final outlaps. I've been keeping an eye on Seagull down in 12th at the moment. He's got some good pace on him, and he's not performing as expected. He's a very quick and competitive driver coming through the final few corners. So it looks like he's about to either come into the pits or go for a second hot lap. RC Sam, also very poor. Jim Pasty, who has rejoined, will be very disappointed. Not really get a competitive time out. And Vettel is getting out on track. He already is out on track. Sorry, they want to be setting these times as quickly as possible. We could see a real attrition of nerves. So who's got the balls to leave it really late and to just leave it as late as possible? Get them maximum opportunities and the maximum amount of grip on the track to really push and set the fastest lap. At the moment, it looks like Ash and Sean have probably got the best opportunity to do so, but you look at Prenter and Cherry 2 Pie, not too far behind either, so we could have a really competitive and close end to this session.
It's definitely something possible. I'm noticing on the chat as well, Ash, despite the fact that he's now back out on track on the super soft tyres as well, so he's obviously trying something a little bit different. He's even jumped into the chat saying that he got some dirty air during that pole lap. So if that's the case, he feels there's the potential to go even faster than that 19.3 if that is the case. So he feels he can extract some more from that papaya orange machine, even though he's on the slower super softs possibly.
Yeah, it's a very ballsy strategy, I've got to say, coming super soft tyres. Notoriously, you probably rather about lose maybe, I think is the margin you may lose. So if he's that confident where he can improve with tyres that are slower by 0.3 to the purple walled ultra softs, then that's some confidence right there. We may have ourselves an early contender for driver of the day. And oh no, he's come into the pit, he started in, and he decided that he's fluffing there, just showing his hand a little bit. Brakes a little bit late there. Why were we doing that in the race? That may be a penalty and a 5-second stop go pretty quickly onto the ultra softs, and now this is really go time for these guys. If anyone's out on track who wants to come in, they have to get in quickly onto the ultra softs. Guys like Stocky, who know he's got some pace, giving himself one, maybe 2 laps. The ERS now a main feature of this game. You've got to remember that ERS, if you don't have ERS, you can lose major time out here.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a big cam before the storm. I think Stocky's the only car on track at the moment. Everyone else is pit, a couple in the outlaps. He seems to be the only one not on an outlap. I'm actually going to jump on board and let's do an on-board lap with the Renault driver, TR Stocky. He's actually a pad user, not using a wheel as Stocky. Into turn 1, down to 4th gear, clips the apex quickly up to 5th. Through turn 2, quickly on the DRC, slowed down, so we're not going to get to complete that lap, unfortunately. We'll see if we can find someone else a bit further on into the lap, so we'll try that one again in a wee moment's time. Should maybe have tried that earlier on in the session. What do you think, Ollie?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he might be extending warning though coming out there. I was looking there, looked like all 4 wheels may have got off the track, always backed off. He's going to save the RS, charge that up and go for one more lap. His Spider has just started his lap.
Yeah, I've just managed to jump on board with him, so we'll try again. A little bit of a lock up into turn 1 and into 7th gear. Keeping the right on the rev limiter, doesn't use 8th gear, locking up into turn 3, down to 2nd, up to 3rd and into 4th. Through turn 4, using the curb on the exit, 5th gear, keeping it flat through here, 6 up to 7th, under the trees, hard on the brakes, down to 5th gear, 4th gear just before the apex, using the curb on the exit, easy on the power, 7th gear, 8th gear, coming up to turn 9, it's called Clark. 3rd gear, it's easy to get it wrong through here, it can easily take you into the wall, and then it's just an acceleration zone through the curb. We've got Albert Park Lake to your right hand side. This is a fast chicane, down to 7th gear, and oh, the lag there just seemed to show it. He's gotten it wrong, but he got it right. 7th gear, 8th gear, DRS again, there's 3 zones. 4th gear through there, on the power into 5th, 6th gear, and then back down to 5th for this fast corner. And then a tricky little bit here, a little bit of a lock up, 2nd gear into 3rd. 4th gear, looked like he had to wait on the power. And then can he improve that 19.8? Yes he can, a 19.4, so he's only, look at the gaps there, the top 3 are separated by 5/100ths of a second. That is the difference between the top 3 drivers, so very, very close. And we've got a Red Bull and a Ferrari train coming along the back here, 50 seconds before the flag drops. This is crunch time now, Ollie. Who's your money on?
Oh, it's going to be tough. I still think there's something else, Ash. They're both very quick. Cherry 2 Ply is finding himself some clean space. He just started his lap. While he was on there, I was looking at some of the guys, and there were 7 cars that came out on track. You'll notice now, if you're on board with Sean and you'll see they're all very, very tight and bunching up coming into the final corner. There was 2 Saubers, 2 Ferraris, 2 McLarens that all come out at the exact same time and almost hindered. So it's really getting this crunch time. Cherry 2 Pilo looks to be flying at the moment. He's going to make sure he doesn't get all 4 wheels off the track, as that can majorly hinder himself, and he may just drop down a few more positions as guys get faster and faster. You know, he's got Lee Findlay behind him as well. He's just started a lap. Of course, India's coming out of the pits as well. But Cherry 2 Pie knows he's got some pace under that car. He needs to take full advantage. You look at his ERS deployment, 50% at the moment. So he may just have enough coming through the final sector. He's really going to be keep an eye on Ash Daridos as well. They're going to continue to improve time. Cherry coming through the final sector now. Loses the rear end slightly, but holds it. Now snapped right hand side, clipping the apex, using the curbing to get a great exit into the penultimate corner, lock up from the front left-hand tyre now as he switches his long right hill just on the curbing, maximum speed onto the curb as he goes up into 7th gear, fully RS, DRS and rich mix. Where can he go? Only P5 for him, 1 minute 19.6, a very quick time, but not good enough.
Casper onto pole though, 19.363, he's gone 1/100th of a second faster than Ash. Can the McLaren driver respond? It looks like he's ahead of him, Lee Findlay. Will he get out of the way? Will he get any dirty air? It'll be interesting to see, but we have the Toro Rosso at Casper on pole position at the moment. The flag has dropped. This is the last laps. Can anyone improve on their lap times? Ash over the line? No, he cannot. And that is it. So there is your lineup for the race, and it is the Toro Rosso of Casper24, who takes the pole position for the opening race of the season. CSR Ash in second place, 1/100th of a second behind, and he's just mentioned in the chat, got an invalid on that last lap, so thank you for the info there, Ash. Really helpful. He says he feels that it would have been a 19.2 if it hadn't been for the invalid, so he feels he would have been quick enough if that wasn't the case. But here we go. The Dutchman takes pole. It's Casper from Ash. Dawidos is in third in the Ferrari. RC Spider fourth in the Force India. Sean is fifth in the second Ferrari. Cherry 2 Pie in sixth in the Red Bull. Toro Rosso. Seventh is VP Vettel Racer. Eighth is Big Parenta. Ninth is Lee Findlay. 10th is Ivan Situ. I'm still learning these names. 11th Tactician. 12th TR Stocky. 13th for the Eagle. RC Sam 14th, and I didn't quite catch the rest of them because it has moved on to the race, but this is going to be very interesting indeed.
I believe one of them is Daniel, if I'm correct. I've asked a few drivers what happened. Stocky has informed me that he lost the rear end on his final lap and did have the pace to get into P6. But we've got the formation lap, of course, to get underway. It's important that the guys heat up their tyres, which will be interesting to see what some of them do. You know, on this game, sharp braking is going to be the ideal way of heating them tyres and brakes. Into turn one, not an ideal overtaking opportunity, but I'm hoping there's some clean driving from these guys, because if we see any contact, it could hinder someone's race. So Casper come out of nowhere to pick up the pole position. Andy, I've got to ask you, who is your money on today? Overtaking is very tough around here, but with 3 DRS zones, ERS deployment, rich mix, it could be interesting. And where do you think the guys are going to have to make overtaking? Because it can become a race of real attrition to get that late lunge down.
I think the best place has got to be down into turn 3. Turn 1's just a bit too fast, and the other DRS zone out of the fast chicane is probably a bit too tricky to follow through unless the car in front makes a mistake. So I think getting the run through down to turn 3 is going to be the best shout to get the best chance of getting the pass. But we're going to have, first of all, the formation lap. I'm just going to get everything up that I need on the screen. So we'll have the intervals. There we go. So round 1, Melbourne, Australia. Let's have a look. So the top 10 are on the Ultra Soft. Tacticians on the Super Softs. Stockies on the Ultra Softs, and then from 13th down are all on the soft tyres. So a mixture of strategies here, Ollie. Definitely going to be interesting for those towards the back to see what they can do.
Yeah, from Stocky, I was expecting him to maybe go on the soft compound. Tactician as well on super soft. So keep an eye out on 13. It's going to be very competitive. The ultimate strategy round here can work an absolute treat. All the guys in the top 10 will have worn ultra soft tyres. Tactician and Stocky just filter their way through, the grid like a colander. It could be an interesting one to see what these guys are able to do. Casper, though, has got a difficult task. Leading an opening race is never easy. You can get the pressure on, and you've got a situation. For Ash as well, he'll be disappointed he didn't take pole. He showed that he had pace, but he just made a silly mistake. Maybe going on to the super soft tyres was not the right idea to do. Maybe he should have gone out in the ultras. You know, gone out, got that lap done early instead of leaving it late where the mistake was. We've got some good competitive guys through there. Daniel and Pasty, both guys who raced in the top class last season, down in 15th and 17th. They weren't very often at the back end, but still, you'd have expected guys like that to be at the top. The formation lap, though, is coming to the end. The guys have got their tyres warmed up. We'll hand you over to the start of the opening round.
Yes, they're coming round to complete the formation lap. Casper's got a bit of a gap over everyone else. If this was real life, we can ignore Tactician and Stocky's DQs because that's just from the formation lap. I remember that one from the evaluation race. But if this was real life, he would be a bit worried sitting on that grid for too long. The drivers lining up on the grid. And we're just waiting on the lights to come on. Here we go for round 1. Season 16 is about to go underway in Tier 2. The lights are on. And we are go in Australia, and it looks like it's been a decent start from the pole sitter. Ash is looking to have a lunge into turn 1. Will he go for the inside line? They're side by side into turn 1. That looked like a touch as well. Can anyone get by? There's a contact there, and Ash is through into first place, and Davidos is looking to have a go as well, and he is passed as well. Round the outside into turn 3. He's now got the inside into turn 4, and that is a horrible, horrible start for the pole sitter. He has lost 2 places already, and he has dropped down to 3rd place as Ash takes the lead. I'm going to drop back through the order and see what's going on. Spider in 4th, the other Toro Rosso of Cherry Pie in 5th. Sean is in 6th place. Just going to have a wee check through here, see what is going on. So, any other major places? There was a bit of lag there, so it's fine. But Ash looking to build a lead already. Obviously DRS doesn't come into effect until the end of the second lap, the start of lap 3, but he's already got 6/10 up on Davidos, and he'll be looking to extend that pretty quickly as we end lap 1.
There's been some contact further down the... Daniel has just lost the rear end, going through, I believe that was the order, and you'll see now coming to the pits. I think he's coming to the pits. So what's happened is Daniel's lost the rate and been swiped and just been taken out in his spin there, and Daniel there making a little bit of a mistake that has cost the Mercedes guy probably his race.
As I can just see that Junda's gone into the pits, so I was going to try and jump to it there, but obviously a bit too late and missing that, unfortunately. But thank you for catching that one there, Ollie. I can see that Junda is in the pits. Is Dan Danquil going into the pits as well?
No, he's decided to stay out. There's a really intense battle.
He's carried on. Okay.
A big battle going on between 10th and 9th as the Red Bull and McLaren are going to go side by side. Need to avoid contact. The super soft Red Bull there trying to go around the outside of your fellow Scotsman Lee Findlay, as he's going to continue with the momentum though, heading up into the most difficult part of the track, as I would say. He's going to have to move around the outside to do it. It's going to be a risky move if he goes for it. He backs out of it and look, takes out the Bullard. This will now increase the exit now. We can have slipstream, no DRS as you mentioned. DRS is in. Can he got the inside late braking? No, he thinks better of it, but a lock up from Lee Findlay could open up the corner coming up onto the start finish straight. As you mentioned, on lap 3, DRS is available. Yeah, we managed to jump to that one, just caught the end of that as it went nearly side by side through the fast chicane. I did notice as well, Pig Parenta has got himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings already. Only 3 laps into this race, and he is already, there he goes, past Big Cherry to Pie as well into turn 1, so he's made a place up as he tries to make advantage, knowing he's got that penalty. Can the Scotsman make it back past into turn 3? No, he cannot. So that is a move for position into P7 for the Red Bull on the sister Toro Rosso. And action all over the place. Yeah, quick start from Cherry 2 Pie. He's lost 2 positions as he's lost the rear end coming out of the corner there. Fantastic driving there from Cameron Cherry 2 Pie to hold on to the car. Snap of oversteer. I think he has got damage, struggling a bit too much into the rear end of someone, and if you look behind him now, he has got a gaggle of cars as Lee Findlay, his fellow Scotsman, now is going to go around the outside a long way for him to do it. He's hit the wall, maybe potential damage there, a little bit scrappy there, maybe should have thought better of it, but Cherry 2 Pie has now got a train, and it looks like the Flying Scotsman has got himself some carriages on as he comes round the outside. Braking from Lee Findlay, round the outside, contact between the front left. Inside now, the Renault trying to get past, and this train is causing some fantastic driving now. Can the McLaren go up the inside? He can, but the Renault behind is getting a little bit feisty. All these guys can sense there's points on the line at the moment, and they're getting very, very scrappy. They need to make sure they don't pick up any damage. But Cherry 2 Pie has done something for us that we didn't expect, and has started a very early train, and there's overtaking going on all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, we're actually keeping an eye. Cherry 2 Pie sideways, that's him in the wall, that's him out, he's out the race. Cherry 2 Pie out the race, got sideways out of turn 2, lost the rear end into the wall, lost the front right tyre, and that is the Toro Rosso driver out of the race. That is not the start to the season he wanted, and that is him gone and out. That is not what you want to see, and we are down to 16 drivers. Junda at the back of the field setting the fastest lap of the race on his new, and we've got a safety car deployed. Due to that accident, we've got the safety car out, and that is going to bunch the field right up, so we have a full safety car now. This is going to be interesting for the strategy. Will anyone take advantage and pit?
I am imagining most of the guys are on ultra, because if the safety car's out 2-3 laps, it will be restarting around about lap 7. Not be degraded at all going through this period of the safety car, so you'll be coming out at 7. That's kind of when they were expecting the pit, so if you're on the ultra softs, you'll be coming in, which will really hinder the guys who started on the ultra strategy on the super soft and the soft compound. But you'll look at Ash, this has actually hindered him quite coming to the pits. He's in, Davidos is in. This isn't great though for the likes of Sean.
Sean stayed out.
So he'd lose a lot of play. Sean really having to go for something completely different. Some of the guys are going to have to stay out, like the Red Bull there of Tactician having to go out there. Could have come into soft compound tyres, but this has come into the pit. You'll be interested to see what these strategies are. If you look at the tyres, everything is yellow apart from the top two at the moment.
Absolutely.
We need to mention Jahunda, who that earlier incident is, really come back into play now, so a saving grace for him.
Absolutely.
Very Dubai.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is now on the softs. Absolutely pandemonium in the pits there. Sean has stayed out on those ultra softs, though, as Tactician on the super softs. So you can see now the top 6 is Sean from Tactician, the Eagle, RC Sam, Jim Pasty and VP Dan Danquil, and those are the only drivers not to pit under this safety car period. So if you want to look at it under pit stops, CSR Ash is still your provisional race leader in one sense, but what could happen moving forward? Obviously everybody's got to make at least one pit stop. Can they make those tyres last to the end of the race though? They've still got about 24-25 laps to go, so they've still got quite a way to go to get it to the end of the race.
I want to point out, Andy, I've got to point out, look where Ash is. Ash is as a in that. In P7 he was leading, and now he's down in 7th stops and whatnot, but this isn't great for him. You've got to look, P7, 6, all them guys ahead of him, just going to move out the way. He's going to have to fight this. So we've got a cracker issues or anything. If you think about it directly, you'd say maybe he's competing to the end of the race with some of these guys, based on the tyre wear. Softs last till the end. That's
the one bit I'm wondering. I don't know if they will. It's quite a long way to take them, over 20 laps. I mean, this safety car period will help. It will allow them to save a bit of fuel, obviously, so they can run a bit richer later in the race. But will the tyres last? Is it going to be definitely an interesting factor? I will point out, I am spotting, obviously, as you may spot as well, Ollie, in the chat, obviously there's quite a bit about the stream being quite laggy. I am aware, I have spotted it, I can only apologise, obviously. It's something that, we try and put it on the best internet connection possible, of course, and sometimes it just is the way things are, so we can only apologise for that, and it's, we're doing the absolute best we can here, and bringing you the action from Tier 2 here on the PS4 from the Hype Energy F1 2018 Season 16 race opener here on AOR, but we are doing absolutely what we can, but we do understand the picture quality isn't exactly the best, and we can only apologise that is the case. It's something quite beyond the control of myself. Did do a test stream, didn't quite have this problem previously, so can only apologise, didn't quite expect this, but we're doing our best. But we do have the safety car out at the moment. Sean leading in the Ferrari. Safety car in this lap, so the number 87 becomes the de facto safety car. He needs to let that Mercedes disappear up the road, and then he gets to choose when to go. Now he's got to pick it and go in one smooth motion. Can't just decide to stab it and go and then stop and go and stop and go. When will he pick to go? That safety car's not too far ahead. He's really going to have to bunch them up. Jim Pasty, 5 second stop and go penalty, severe collision with VP Dan Danquil. I noticed a 5 second stop and go for Lee Findlay for speeding in the pits as well, but here we come up to the restart. When is Sean going to hit the button? Here he goes, DRS enabled straight away as well, and we are back underway. Now, what can Tactician do? Can he get anywhere close to that Ferrari? Down into turn 1. We're on lap 7 now. He's not able to do anything into turn 1. We're on board with the Eagle and the Sauber running wide. RC Sam is in 4th, and he spins into the wall, and that is RC Sam out of the race as well. Huge accident for the Force India. Jim Pasty's left the session as well. That could be another safety car. We need to get back towards the front. And we've got other cars on the wall, but that is due to the lag they're kicking about. So we have lost another car. Could we see another safety car period? We will soon see. But we have got Sean still leading from Tactician, the Eagle. CSR Ash now up to 4th. Davidos has had a shocker of a restart, losing 3 places along with RC Spider.
Yeah, absolutely hectic racing. In fact, Davidos did poorly there, I'd say, as there's a few guys in the wall. As Davidos, I think, has lost front wing. In fact, he's lost some of his front wing coming up. Spider's going up the inside, heading into turn 11, turns it to the left, and that's him past. Davidos now is really going to struggle. If you look board with him in the grass, and Davidos' race now has fallen to pieces. Ash done fantastically as well, with Jim Pasty disconnecting and now obviously rejoining, and the spin there for RC Sam. He also got past Dan Daniel. We got past 3 cars in a straight. You know, whether or not they were all legitimate and were actually on track one, it begs to differ. But he's done a really good job. That was one of the stages he needed to do, and now he's got the H equal in his sights. Perfect down though. These guys are getting very, very close. Stock, you can see Lee Findlay and Big Parenta in his sights as he wants to. Pasty is still not there. Jahindu has got a second lifeline. Lee Parenta, as he comes out of turn 1 now, getting on the curb and to get that extension nicely onto the curb. No DRS at the moment, but 6-stream available now. Can he head it up into the turn 1? Late diving up the inside. Just got he's unable to get. He's going to have some pressure from that Tangerine McLaren for quite.
He's going to need to try and do something to get away from that McLaren. It's definitely not going to give him a moment's peace. Up to 8, moving up a place, we're watching Casper at the moment. That's your pole sitter, down in 8th place. Didn't get the best of starts, dropped 3 places pretty quickly as well. So that wasn't the greatest of starts for him. So he's trying to make up ground on the super softs at this point in time. And he'll be trying to make up the ground, but you can see that Sean has made up a second up front, so he's out of DRS range. We're going to catch up to Ash, who is trying to get past the Eagle in the Sauber. He's only got 3 temps between. Now, can he do it coming down the front straight? There we go, DRS is properly enabled now. I got the notification of it previously.
Yeah, it's an important time now. He needs to try and get this as possible. Ash on the soft compound tyres, so too is H Eagle. Yellow flagged is 6th of the long game here. Sean, who we know is on the ultra soft tyres, is going to be struggling. He has to go for something completely different. He's been hindered due to them pit stops. He's decided to stay out, which some people may question and say wasn't the smartest choice to go for. But he's got just a bit of a gap at the moment. Competition's a little bit behind. But Ash manoeuvre done as quickly as possible on the H Eagle. Otherwise, it could allow Spider and Vettel to catch up. But at the moment, it doesn't look like they are. Damn Daniel. So Ash is breezing at the moment to potential victory at the moment. No real challenger has emerged since Davidos had his issue and dropped down into last position. A nightmare for the pole. Try and get himself back up there. Now DRS just isn't got enough going into turn 13 there, exit of turn 12. Isn't really the highest revs to allow you to get on the tyres, and you have to turn 1 and 3 once again as Tactician has now taken the net lead as Sean comes, imagine, for a fresh set of soft compound tyres.
Yeah, so just fouling the Ferrari into the pits, see what he puts on. It is the yellow soft tyres that he's putting on. We'll try and jump back up to Ash because he is right behind that Sauber going into turn 1 and 2, heading down towards turn 3. Famous turn 3. We remember Martin Brundle's accident in 1996 in the debut, and that is a lovely move from Ash into turn 3. Went to the outside, switched back to the inside nice and late on the brakes, and that was an absolutely beautiful move there. And Stocky's retired from the session now as well, so we've lost a few drivers during this race. We're down to 14 runners still left racing here, but a lovely move from Ash, and he is now up to second place. Tactician in the lead in the Red Bull on those super softs, 2 seconds up the road, but he is still to make his one at least mandatory pit stop to go on to at least another set of tyres. So when will he make that? We've got a virtual safety car now. Any ideas what's caused that one there, Ollie? See anything?
I believe it's the retirement of Stocky. I think Stocky's retired in a difficult, which has now allowed the stewards to call out the virtual safety car, because I think he done it in turn 1. Nowhere to remove the car as well. It's really throwing a spice in there. This now could allow Tactician. I'd imagine he'll be darting into the pits as quickly as possible. I wonder where he's going to emerge. We'll keep an eye on Tactician. He does come into the pits as expected. We'll see where he comes. We'll look into the top left corner to see when it says virtual safety car. Tactician could some real good pace at the moment. Also in the pits down Daniel, so no surprise there. He'll be component of the super soft. And still underway. I don't think it's coming to an end just yet. And yeah, we Tactician, who's right to an end, is now coming out in about 10th. It will be no 9th. For 9th, virtual safety car now looks to be coming to an end. I believe no, it's yes, I think it's coming to an end now. There it is. So the virtual safety car is ended just as the Tactician exits the pit. Now we'll keep an eye on the man in 9th. He can actually be a late challenger for this round. His set of super soft compound tyres. He could be on an absolute charge here.
It's quite possible. I mean, compared to the race leader we're watching just now, Ash, his tyres will be 6 laps younger if they were to run it right to the end. But as we come up to lap 11, we've had a safety car and a virtual safety car, but it's CSR Ash who took second on the grid, took the lead into turn 1 and 2. He is leading by 2 seconds from RC Spider at the moment in the Force India. VP Vettel Racer in third, and he is just about half a second behind in the Sauber from that Force India. Casper is in 4th in the Toro Rosso. You can just see him behind, and there's a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings for Davidos as well, and he is down in 14th after that wing damage that you mentioned earlier on, Ollie. So it's obviously just compounding misery to the Ferrari drivers' race as well.
Yeah, I found out from Stocky that he had double wing damage. He pitted, so he to call it a day, and it's really helped his engine supply racing counterpart there of Tactician Sharif Tupai contact. I dare say there'll be a steward inquiry. I just had a look at Davidos. It looked like he's really struggling, so he have that front wing sorted out, or he's just trying to save the tyres. He may pick up some scrap points if there's a few more DNS. But Ash now 1.3 seconds ahead of Spider. For the race lead here is Vettel as well, is looking rather tasty behind in P3. So this race isn't over just yet.
No, definitely not, because that gap at the end of the virtual safety car is about 2 to 2.5 seconds. So this racing pack we're watching of Spider, Vettel Racer and Casper are definitely closing in on our race leader. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Big Parenta's got another 3-second time penalty. I think that's his second, so he's going to need to be careful he doesn't get DQ'd before long.
Yeah, Davidos was retired, which was the yellow flag out there. So I mentioned him maybe struggling. I think he just called it a day. It's going to be disappointing for him. He could have got a potential race victory, but sadly for him, he is now out of this Grand Prix. Jundu is now onto the back of his teammate in the Mercedes. So from beyond down Daniel, he's now into 8th position. I'd be surprised if these super soft tyres will last to the end of the Grand Prix, but if they do, it would be an absolute masterclass. Tactician's got 4.7 seconds to him, so he's got a little bit. But Lee Findlay on the back of Big Parenta at the moment. Now coming into turn 3, he has to go the long way around if he's going to do it. He's going to hold it out there, just avoid his rear wheel, and can't get the manoeuvre done there. But he's getting very feisty at that McLaren, and it looks like Vettel is into potential overtaking opportunities for the force India ahead, as Ash and Spider have maintained that 1.3 second gap from last lap. As Leaf India actually gets time penalties. A lot of time penalties going on around here between these two and 5th and 6th. So time penalties may be a big factor in the high point scoring for this.
Yeah, because Lee Findlay got a 5-second one as well for speeding in the pit lane also, so that's not his first one either. There's Casper getting a 3-second time penalty. He's just behind us. We are on board with Vettel Racer, so he's just taken a little bit too much through the fast chicane at turn 11 and 12. Get that penalty, I would imagine. But yeah, it's turning into a bit of a racy attrition here, down to 13 drivers, but we are on board with the Sauber into the start of another lap. DRS wide open as we chase down RC Spider. Up ahead we can see Ash pulling over to the right hand side. You think he's trying to break the slipstream possibly, getting a bit worried about this chasing pack behind him maybe.
Well, it's interesting because the gap is remaining at 1.3 seconds at the moment. I've been looking at the where he gains and loses time, and they just seem to be consistent. She's pulling off some sort of like Lewis Hamilton-esque strategy, where he just maintains and keeps that keeps behind him in dirty air, costing him tyres. I've been keeping an eye through the exact. Vettel was actually dropped a little bit behind Spider as well, so maybe we could have all three of these guys very, very close on track. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a difficult job. Lee Findlay, though, has also been trying to gain onto the back of Parenta, and he's got a good exit out of turn 12 there. He's all over the rear end of Big Parenta. ERS, DRS, and Slipstream round the outside. Big Parenta defending very nicely there. He's going to stick it round their contact as they touch. He's going to try and go around the outside, but he thinks better of it. Will it be a late lunge into Penalties? He's going to switch to. They're going to go side by side, little bit of contact onto the grass goes the Red Bull. The McLaren's going to switch it around the outside now, and can they hold it together? Beautiful driving. They're going to go side by side. DRS available for the McLaren, line for the Red Bull. These just alongside though, great driving from these two. ERS is coming into play for the Red Bull up the inside. Can he get the position back? Yes, he does, squeezing out the McLaren onto the AstroTurf now. He's going to get the slipstream once again, the McLaren. He's never been closer to getting inside line. He knows it's effective. Round the outside goes the McLaren. He's going to go for the switchback as the Red Bull goes a little bit deep now. Round the outside. Can he get a manoeuvre done? A little bit of contact onto the sausage curb, and Parenta has held on to that held on to the position there. Another lap to defend though, because I don't think this McLaren is going to give up easily.
No, we managed to jump onto that in time. The side-by-side action, brilliant driving from both drivers there to avoid, because that could easily have been quite a big accident that took both of them out of the race. So we've got to give them both credit there for not having that turn into a huge, massive catastrophe. But RC Spiders managed to pull away from VP Vettel Racer up behind him, so he's managed to get himself a gap and out of DRS range at this point, so he can now concentrate on trying to get that 1.5 second gap to CSR Ash down without having to worry about the car behind him. So this is definitely going to be an interesting second half to the race, as we're now past the halfway point as we go on to lap 16 here in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit tasty at the moment. Lee Findlay is backed off to maybe save some ERS to go for it once again. He used all his ERS in that section, so he's on 32% at the moment. He's charged that. Looking at the ERS of these guys, CR Rash on 78%, Spider 37 and 67 for Vettel. So it looks like Vettel's trying to save it a little bit, but Casper is now starting to gain onto the back of him, and he's got a lot of ERS available to him as well. That ERS management is going to be crucial. A lot of these guys on the low 30s that are squabbling close together, like Lee Findlay and Big Parenta, really drained their supplies, but they're going to have to recharge and go once again. So I do not think Lee Findlay is going to give up for one moment. Tactician has made his way through the field as I expected at the moment. He's still in 9th, 1 second behind Jahindu. Get past his tick pass and up onto the back of Jahindu. He's then got very close down the line is Lee Findlay and Big Parenta, who are at risk of making contact and dropping. So this race is definitely not over for the guys who are out of the points, such as Husky, Sean and Daniel at the moment. The McLaren once again ramping up. He hasn't got much ERS. I think he's saving it, just using slipstream at the moment, and I think we could see these guys really strong, as they've both got very, very similar ERS, both on 30% at the moment. So this is going to be a real going on to lap 16, sorry.
Yeah, another 3-second penalty this time for Sean in the Ferrari, down in 12th. He obviously made a late pit stop, so that's another one with a time penalty to deal with at the end of the race. We are watching the battle for 5th and 6th at the moment that you've been following, Ollie, between Big Parenta and Lee Findlay, the Red Bull versus the McLaren. Renault engine in the back of those cars, and he's diving down the inside into turn 3, side by side through turn 3, but the Red Bull's got the inside line. And that's again going to hold off very nicely there, but Lee Findlay is just not giving up at all and trying to get past this Red Bull at all. He's just pushing and pushing and pushing, and he's just not. He's trying to get this move done. He is relentless. It's the equivalent of a terrier biting at your heels, it's got to be said.
Yeah, it's getting really tight between them two. Looking further down the field, Tactician has got past Jindu. And now Jindu's got the Eagle and Daniel both behind him, so there's a real train. And you could see some good battling between the Mercedes, the Sauber, and the Haas drivers at the moment as it looks wide there. Opening up the opportunity for the H-Eagle win the Sauber. He's going to pull over the left-hand side of the track, long way round, if anything. Round the outside, very late braking, lock up on the front left. That was a very clean and tidy manoeuvre.
Very nice move indeed. Yeah, it was a very nice move indeed. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you, Ollie. I thought you had finished. No. And the Mercedes into the pits. Jindu's managed to get 15 laps on those super softs. So this is going to be his second stop off the race, having stopped early, and that's going to drop him back down the field. We are going to move back up towards VP Vettel Racer, who's got the pole sitter Casper, trying to hunt him down. 7 tenths between those two at the moment. And as you can see, the top 7, 13 laps on these tyres from that point where the safety car came out. The fastest lap of the race was the 1 minute 23.0 from Dawidos, who has retired from the race. That was on the super soft tyres. The next fastest I can see is a 23.3 from VP Dan Danquil, who is currently in 10th place in the Haas, I think it is he's in. Yes, it is. Still trying to get used to which cars are which at the moment. There you go. But so it'll be interesting to see. Those tyres are definitely lasting. The safety cars will have helped. This track's not seen as being one for massive tyre wear in comparison to some, so it could be plausible, but it'll be interesting. It looks like RC. Yeah.
A lot of these guys here are just trying to hold onto the tyres for as long as possible. Big degradation around here, and the main thing around here is actually difficulties to overtake, as we've seen a lot of the guys, such as the McLaren, and struggling to get past the car ahead, and you know, have to really have. As I said earlier, it's a race.
We seem to have lost it. There you go.
Yeah, but the McLaren is really struggling to get past the Red Bull, and as I mentioned, it's a race of attrition. Lap 19 of 29. He's got enough laps left into this Grand Prix. Most of these guys have done 14 laps on their tyres, from Ash down to 7th place of Ivan, Tactician on his 8-lap old tyres, H-Eagle and Dan Daniel all on the soft compound. Jindu, you know, really struggling down in 12th. You know, he's really looking to scrap out the points. The Tactician now all over the back. He's just got a little bit early on that corner and could have maybe got a warning of corner cutting. DRS and ERS available for him now. Slipstream, I don't think he's going to go for it. If he does, it's a very late manoeuvre. No, he's going to have to back out of it and think about going for the move onto the next lap. At the moment, Akko really holding on to that position. Pulling over to the right-hand side, I believe you mentioned earlier about the slipstream, trying to avoid any gains through there. One Vettel's got behind a little bit, but in the Sauber company and could go for a manoeuvre. We saw in F1 last season that overtaking was very difficult. I remember Ollie D and Synthetic battling for Potter, Synthetic unable to get past the Mercedes. Looks like though Lee Friendly has finally got past the McLaren. A huge congratulations to the Scotsman. I dare say there'll be celebrations up in Glasgow as Lee Friendly got the manoeuvre down up into P5 and is doing it for the Scotsman after Cherry 2 retired earlier on.
I'll pop along the M8 later on and give him your congratulations personally, mate, not a problem. But yeah, he's definitely finally got that move done on Big Parenta. We are watching the battle between Tactician Ivan Stowe, who's Tactician's actually got past the Mercedes there, as you were mentioning about Lee Findlay getting the move done on Big Parenta. So the Red Bull is now finally past the Mercedes, and Junda, having now put on the new super soft tyres, has set the fastest lap of the race with a 23 dead. Just to give a bit of perspective on that, the outright lap record for a race is still by Michael Schumacher in that amazing F2004, a 124.1. The race lap record this year was Daniel Ricciardo, a 124.3. So it just shows you how quick that car was and just how quick these guys are around here tonight. I know it's only a sim game, if you want to call it that, but it does show that they are going pretty quick indeed.
Yeah, big Parenta letting Lee Findlay get past two. Quickly paying on ice. Maybe the M8 needs to be, maybe you need to maybe back out of there, maybe just think about your night, and maybe you won't be driving for too long, as Lee Findlay has got at the moment 1/10 behind. He's keeping him quite keen as he almost loses the rear end of the Red Bull. So these guys are just going to continue to squabble for quite a while. It looks like Big Parenta was the AOR a little bit more, 30%, but for Lee Findlay, maybe he's damaged his tyres getting past, maybe has cost him dramatically, and the Red Bull is now going to the corner side, around the outside, lock up from both guys, but the McLaren has held onto it, and Big Parenta, big boxy there from Spider, could affect the podium. So he's 3 seconds on the podium. We'll go on to Casper now. He's all over the rear end of Vettel now, coming into turn 13. Is unable to get the manoeuvre done though, but that is looking like it's going to get Parenta all over the rear end of Lee Findlay as well as they come through now into turn 13. All the guys getting on lap 23 and lap 22. Round the outside, the Big Parenta has got that place back. So a brick as he's going to have to into the Red Bull once again. And Casper in the slipstream of Vettel now going to just start Vettel defending very nicely, trying to hook it round the outside. Defending nicely, but now we have ERS and slipstream available now to him. He's going to use it all to his advantage. The inside line to switch back maybe. It's just going to be late braking, but no, good defending from Vettel as the Sauber. So maybe just Casper could still go into the progressive pole position.
Yeah, time penalties across the board there. 3 seconds for Ash, 3 seconds for Spider, I've seen 3 seconds for Big Parenta as well. All within about the space of about 5 seconds as you were going through the moves carrying on track there, Ollie. So it could still have effect on the podium as Casper goes for the inside line on Vettel Racer there into turn 9, but unable to get the move done on that one. So he's still giving it a right good go, and Lee Findlay has been repassed by Big Parenta, and he's now got himself his own 3 second time penalty as well. So I will certainly not be going on the M8 to congratulate him on the move. I'll be taking the first exit back off to avoid that trip. But we're coming up towards the end of the race, not long to go, as you say, lap 22 of 29, coming up towards the end of the race, and there's just a gaggle of them towards the back, as you say. Behind him as well, Sean's catching them up as well, so 5th down to 11th, for not separated by a huge amount, to be perfectly honest. There's only about 5 seconds between the whole lot. In fact, we've just seen them all there in the one camera shot on the one straight, so it's definitely going to be fun.
Yeah, these guys keep one battle, I'll keep an eye on another one. Well, you're looking at that, Casper's gone for another manoeuvre on Vettel, and it's just all over the place at the moment. These guys are really putting to the metal as Casper's slipstreaming Vettel. We'll be an unorthodox manoeuvre if we can get it round here. I've noticed though Vettel is defending very well. A yellow flag in sector. The guys at the end, I'll have a look see who that was. I think it was just a lock-up, but yeah, Ivan has got the H-Eagle and Sean behind him. But Casper's got the manoeuvre done on Vettel. He's up the inside, he's got it done before turn 11, but this now could open up for Vettel. If he can get that slipstream and DRS available to him, he does. Can he go for a manoeuvre back now? If Casper's got any smarts about him, he's going to defend the inside line. The Sauber though doesn't go for the late manoeuvre, and that is Casper up into P3. Impressive time and an impressive pace from qualifying, and that is the Toro Rosso up into 3rd. Quick score of the Cherry Pie was not.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see if he can get away from the Sauber.
Vettel's actually coming back at him now. He's going to slipstream Casper. Vettel goes around the outside. Can he get the manoeuvre done? He does. Vettel absolutely stormed past. Casper's going to get the exit out of the corner. Vettel was compromised. Can he get the manoeuvre done though? Side by side, he gets into slipstream DRS. He's got to barge his way up the inside. Braked a little bit early, but Vettel and Casper are doing what the big Parenta and Lee Findlay did earlier, and themselves into a ding-dong of a battle. They've got enough time behind the big Parenta to not worry. An intense battle for the podium, and it looks like Spider has pulled away from these P3 that they can get for what performances from both of these guys.
Yeah, definitely so. At least I just noticed as well that Casper turned his battery right down to 0 for a split second, letting it charge right up. You can see he's got it on 0 right now, and he's just turned it right up to 3 as well, and then back down again. So he's trying to pick and choose his moments of when he does this. But this seems to be between this and the battle for 5th downwards, which seems to be between anyone from 5th down to Sean in 11th. Just absolutely incredible what's going on at the moment. But we'll keep an eye on this one for the moment. Big Parenta still ahead of Lee at the moment, Tactician in 7th. Dan Danquil's up to 8th. The Eagles just passed Ivanstu up to 9th and 10th. And Sean's not far behind. No, Ivanstu's back ahead of the Eagle, back down there. So we'll see if we can just quickly pick them up real quick. There, goodness me. We just picked them up coming through the last 2 turns. The Mercedes, the Sauber and the Ferrari. Nearly side by side through the last 2 turns almost. Coming on to start lap 25 for them. This is 9th, 10th and 11th. That was near. I've just turned on there at the right time as we see those 3 going through the last couple of corners. And Sauber looking to go past the Mercedes while the Ferrari tries to go past the Sauber. No team orders here between the Sauber and the Ferrari. Sauber's running wide. Ferrari's wide round the outside. And has the Ferrari got it done? Sean is trying to get back to the Eagle. Oh, get the speed. Sean's gotten a move done. Possibly a little bit a touching and bumping, but he's made it stick. And the 87 machine is through and past the Eagle. And that is a move for 10th place. And that is the final points paying position as well in this race. So can he hold on? He does have the soft tyres against those yellow tyres. The super softs behind. The Sauber is looking to make the pass real quickly. So what can be done? Ferrari into the wall, but it was due to the lag. And you can see that Sean has been on those tyres 15 laps. The Eagle's been on the super softs for 14 laps. And you can see the leaders up top, 20 laps on those soft tyres.
Yeah, for a bit of a quick instalment, lap 26 of 29. Issue is somebody's gone off, and maybe perhaps he's retired. So Casper has been keeping the gap to Vettel and lost the rear end slightly, but just held on to it. The gap between Big Parenta and Casper has actually decreased from 6.4 to now 5.4, so second has been gained. Big Parenta and Leafs have been joined by Tactician, who is on the freshest tyres out of the top 7 at the moment, so this is now becoming a 3-way scrap for 5th position. Casper is keeping Vettel clean, as Sean has now passed the Mercedes right now around the outside. He's up into P9. It's all going off down. He's on super soft tyres in P8, 2.7 seconds off, has been gaining onto the back of Tactician, so we could just 3.5. We could have ourselves battles going on all over the place, so we could have some real late drama between some of these guys, and especially Casper, who now is coming out of turn 12, is going to try and get the manoeuvre done on Vettel. He's been passed once, but almost passed him into turn 1, I believe on lap 23. Do it done at this time. So he's moved further down the field, and it looks like Tactician now on Lee Findlay is going to be the only... he's unable to get that done. The Tactician, who we mentioned earlier would have some serious pace, is now starting to really come back onto this race earlier on, showing some solid pace to lead the race at one point, but now is really... oh, look at that. He's going to have a fantastic exit out of this corner. Lee Findlay seems to have really damaged these tyres and killed them with 21 laps. Parenta 22 now. He's going to go up the... There's going to be any questions from the Tangerine McLaren up into P6. Tactician, who has stormed his way through, and looks like Lee Findlay, sadly for him, who was once up into P5, is going to have to settle now for potentially 8 onto the back of him. Next up, for Tactician, with a big team, him and Big Parenta.
Yeah, we caught that move from Tactician. He had enough time to have a cup of tea before he got to turn one. With that one, Lee Finlay does seem to be struggling on those 22 lap old yellow soft tyres, as Tactician with those 16 lap old tyres able to make that move. Great exit out of the final turn and just easily able to get past well before the first turn. DRS assisted, of course, as well. Casper, though, flying down towards the fast chicane, 3 tenths behind Vettel Racer. Ash is keeping it easy up front, though, around about just under 2 seconds. We've not seen much of the leader. Here goes Casper around the outside at the end of the third DRS zone. Is he going to make it? That is a lovely move from the Toro Rosso driver. Beautifully done under DRS. He had the ERS open as well, I'd imagine, fully deployed, and right round the outside, and that is beautifully done. But here we go now. The Sauber's got the DRS. Vettel Racer's now got a chance to get back past, and he's going to go to the inside. Is the Toro Rosso, and there goes Vettel Racer back around the outside into turn one, and again these two just swapping places back and forth. We're now on the penultimate lap 28 to 29, and Casper gets past with a brilliant move, and then obviously the DRS down the front straight, and Vettel Racer picks his moment, turns up the battery power, and he's back through into turn one. Beautiful tactics from the Sauber driver, from the German, and he is able to keep that final step on the podium for now. But can he keep it for another lap and a half?
Yes, impressive racing there. And one thing I noted from Vettel was he comes from turn one, just rear end slightly there. It's enough pace to get past him, but in turn one, look how late Vettel broke. He was an extra, got to be later on the brakes, which was really come into play, and it's just ridiculous how late he can leave it. He just leaves it so late, can get sharp, and he can get the exit as well, which is surprising. He's good, so if he can get him into turn one on the going into the final lap, it might be a bit too much. He's got some serious straight line pace. These Sauber, so that may hinder his exit though. He's lost the rear end. He's gone to it though. A little bit of a touchy moment. Imagine on lap 20, the final lap, losing the rear end and crashing your car out, having heartbreak. 50 seconds behind them, isn't going to have enough to keep an eye on. He's got some serious pace, and his teammate ahead of him is on the older tyres. There's a 6-lap deficit between these two. I'm not sure Tactician will be able to get the move done though, but some solid points for everyone in his season. But I'll quickly come to you, Andy, and ask you, as we're coming on to these final few laps and these battles come to a close, I've got to ask you, who would be your driver of the day?
Oh, crikey, Mikey's, you're asking me a question there, my friend. I think I've got to say, I would have to say, as much as it sounds cliche, I'd have to give it to Ash. Started second, was really quick and consistent in qualifying. Kept it consistent all race, kept that gap to RC Spider. Pitted at the opportunistic time, obviously, when the safety car came out, and has kept it really consistent. And we're following the number 13. It's unlucky for some, not seen an F1 since Pastor Maldonado left. The Crashinator, he has not though, CISR Ash, as he comes through the final couple of corners. And what a way to start the season for the McLaren driver. It is a win in Melbourne, sways down the straight. It is the win for CSR Ash. RC Spider in second. Fantastic effort from both of them. And who's going to get the third place? It is VP Vettel, who just sneaks over ahead of Casper in fourth. The leaderboard's jumping about due to penalties. Tactician is going to be fifth. Sean is sitting as sixth at the moment. We'll wait until everything settles down. It says the Eagles 7th, Lee Finlay in 8th. We'll get the final results, but we do know that Ash is the winner of the race. And I've got to say, he was the driver of the day for me. What about yourself, Ollie?
Yeah, I'd have to give it to Ash. There's a few guys who've done some really impressive performances of the podium to get underway. I think to come into this race, not be on pole, but show some good pace, starting in P2. He got the manoeuvre done early on. He's had some pressure, but he maintained the gap to Spider behind him, and a really good performance from the McLaren driver. You know, notable announcements, notable mentions must go to Vettel. He had a very good race there, and the amount of times that he got overtaken by Casper behind him, but still got past is very impressive. Spider was very consistent And yeah, a really good performance. We'll now run through the race classifications. It's Ash who was taking a penalty, but it didn't hinder him at all. It was Spider in second, and rounding out the podium is German of Vettel in the Sauber. Casper comes home in fourth, the Dutchman doing a good job for Toro Rosso. Started on pole, he'll be disappointed though, the only point scorer for Toro Rosso after Cherry 2.5 crashed out. Tactician is in fifth for Aston Martin. It would have been a 5-6, but for a penalty to Big Parenta. Sean in the Ferrari is in sixth. Then the H Eagle, he's in seventh. Lee Findlay, we had a really good battle earlier on with Big Parenta. He ends up getting past him. He starts eighth. Then it's Big Parenta in ninth. Jahunda in tenth. Then Dan Daniel, Ivan, Pasti Davidos, and then with all the DNF Steph and Stocky and Cherry 2 Pie as well. A really intense race there, and I've got to say, for me, that was a really good way to start the season. With 20 more races to go, it can only get better, surely.
Definitely so. Now, I think you're going to get us the top three to have a quick wee chat with as well. So we're going to quickly get those three into the lobby very quickly. Just now, I'm just going to put up something else on the screen as a wee thumbnail instead. But definitely a very interesting race. I agree with Ash, you know, in terms of the driver of the day. I agree with you in terms of Vettel, in terms of what he was doing. For, you know, in terms of keeping Casper out. I've got to give Casper a shout as well, though. You know, I think he did very well from, you know, losing the pole position, dropping down to third, lost a few places and everything as well. So I've definitely got to give him a shout as well. You know, I think everybody done well, some fantastic battles out there as well, so absolutely brilliant. But I think you've got some of the drivers available to us now if you want to start off.
Yeah, let me just, I've got to send one more.
Okay, I'll let you finish it off.
They're all been sent out there, so they should hopefully filter in now. We can hear from them. It's been a real impressive start to the season. Some of the guys obviously will be very disappointed. Stocky, I've spoken to, was very personally distraught with his own performance. He felt like he should have done a bit better. Cherry 2 Pie told me that he's going directly to the stewards. We can't obviously say anything about that, but he has made it very publicly clear that he is not happy. I mean, you've got to look at the driver's perspective. If you've sat there for maybe a month, maybe a few weeks, and you've been practicing, you've done the evaluation races, you've done your time trials, you've had all this build-up, you've been practicing all weekend, and then you come into the Grand Prix and you lose the rear end and you crash out, you'd be a little bit upset, wouldn't you?
Definitely. Ash is saying he's not had his invite yet. But
I think you may have to send them because you're the host.
Right, lovely. Okay, let me see what I can figure out. Goodness me. Put me on the spot here, my friend, come on.
All been suggested for you.
Let me just figure this one out real quick. 2 seconds. Where is the party? This is all the fun and games that you have to do when you have to do things differently, don't you? There you go. You get used to it eventually. So, view suggested. Ash, Spider, Vettel. There we go. You put them suggested. That's what I did wrong. There we go. I'll jump back to the lobby so we can watch something rather than looking at a blue screen. There we go. Everyone should have them now. I'm learning as I go along, bear with me. I wish it was, if I had like an Elgato, which is obviously one of the sponsors here at AOR, of course, I would love to have one of those screens that says, please bear with us, technical issues or something. That would just be fantastic. But of course, you know, the league is sponsored by Hype Energy Drink. Obviously, Elgato is one of our main sponsors as well, along with Thrustmaster and GT Omega Racing as well. So go check them out. There will be links in the description after the stream. And I know, not to bring it up too much, I know about the stream, there was a lot of comments about it, something that I can't quite help, never came up within the test race that I'd done, so I can only apologise for that. We do our best here obviously at all times. So, do we have our teams? I think we've got Ash. If you want to kick it off, Ollie, I'll let you go first, my friend.
Here we can do, Ash, congratulations, a very consistent performance. Didn't take pole position as you hoped. You mentioned in the chat that you were hoping to take pole, but you showed some really solid pace and maintained the gap to the Force India behind today. How did you find it? How did you find it though? I mean, obviously it was a technically different race. Obviously, not too many overtakes and not too much to do. You obviously had to maintain the gap. But did you feel there was extra pressure because it was almost like you had nothing to defend? You just had yourself to blame if anything went wrong. Andy, you got any questions?
No, apart from obviously saying well done, Ash. You've covered everything off there, Ollie. It was great racing. I think you controlled it very consistently. And I think it was a very good start and a very good, very aggressive move as well, but very fair as too from the start. And I've got to say, well done. A very good start to the season for you. I'll move on to our second place driver, which is RC Spider in the Force India. Spider, I think that was a pretty decent race there, I've got to say. How did you find it from your side? How was it from where you were sitting?
I believe sadly Spider has been unable to join us, so it looks like we're going to have to move on to Vettel. Sadly, I was hoping he might join in time, but move on to Vettel. The first thing I want to ask him, if you don't mind, Andy,
go for it.
Vettel, your braking was incredible. The amount of times that you got overtaken by the Toro Rosso, but going into turn one was later on the brakes was truly breathtaking. Is that something you've been practicing in the past and you know you can do?
Well, thanks. First of all, yeah. I think I'm very good at braking. Well, normally I don't used to do so. I practice it a lot. It was just about some special. It's a new driving standard I trained. I learned it from last season in F2, where I was outbraked left, right, and center, and so I thought, yeah, you gotta get your braking right, and. Yeah, it helped today. It was an incredibly intense race with Casper. I have to say this was, oh my god, I thought at the finish that I threw it away, but fortunately the 3-second time penalty was there. But that was a truly great battle.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was watching it as well. It was just amazing to watch you guys back and forth. Down the DRS zones, down the back, and then repassing into turn one was just amazing. Do you see this being something that could be an ongoing season battle between you two guys, possibly, maybe?
Well, I think it's very early to judge. It's only the first race, and we have 20 more to come. I think we just gotta see how things pan out. Australia's always a special track, I think, and every track is different. On the other track, other drivers will be faster, others will be slower. But I'm definitely looking forward if it's the case, because yeah, with him you can do such things, and it's obviously great for the spectators on YouTube and for you commentators as well to commentate on that.
Absolutely. I've got one last question for both you two guys as well, just a quick one. Ash, I'll ask you it first. Obviously we finished the first race here, we've got 20 more races. Out of the remaining races, pick one track that you're most looking forward to for the rest of this season. He's there somewhere.
Your luck with asking questions has not been great, has it?
Ah, dearie me. If you're still there, Vettel, I'll ask you that one. How about yourself then?
My favorite track is Monaco, because it was my favorite track. I'm very good at it, but yeah, with this league, I cannot be sure if someone's going faster there. I got a reality check last season when I joined as a newcomer, and I thought, yeah, okay, it's gotta be simple, and then I had to really fight through. But Monaco definitely, because it's just my favorite track, and to handle the cars through the barriers on the edge, especially qualifying, is just amazing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us post-race as well, and congratulations on getting the third place in the season opener. But that brings us to the end. Ollie, you got any wrap-up comments you want to make before we finish up, my friend?
Oh yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the next 20 races. As Vettel mentioned, we've got races such as Monaco, which wasn't on the calendar last season. That's going to be an absolute classic. But I think every single week we're going to see more and more competitive races. Australia isn't notoriously a great overtaking track, but these guys really put on an exceptional show today, and I look forward to next week's high-intensity race.
Yeah, next week is the Bahrain Grand Prix, if I remember correctly as well, and that's definitely going to be an interesting one under the desert lights. We will be back next week, 8 PM on the channel. But for myself, Andy, and for my colleague OTG, Ollie, that is it for the Australian Grand Prix here on the Tier 2 on the PlayStation 4 for the Hype Energy F1 2018 AOR F1 League. Until next week, we'll see you again soon. Ta-da.